Hey everyone, this is Love and you are watching my channel. So basically there are three zones at the site of burn. The three zones are basically the zone of coagulation, that is the superficial zone, and this zone of coagulation basically contains the non-viable tissue and the phenomenon that happens in this zone, that is coagulative necrosis. So there is a MCQ question that which type of necrosis occur in case of the burn. The answer will be coagulative necrosis. So this is a multiple choice question and the damage will be irreversible damage. Now there is a beneath the zone of coagulation and surrounding the zone of coagulation, the zone is zone of stasis. So the zone of stasis is basically that zone which contains both the living tissue, that is the viable tissue, and the non-viable tissue, that is dead tissue. And basically the third zone is zone of hyperemia, that is a zone of vasodilation. So this zone appears red and usually the healing starts from the zone of hyperemia. So the healing starts from this zone. Now let's talk about the classification of burn. So burn is classified on the basis of depth, and on the basis of depth there are 4 degrees of burn: first degree burn, second degree burn, third degree burn, and fourth degree burn. So let's discuss each degree in great detail. Now let's talk about the first degree burn. So the first degree burn is basically the epidermal burn. So the layer that is involved in this burn is epidermis, and examples are like burn while ironing the clothes, burn while touching the hot cooker. And the character of this burn is it is most painful, and the zone where the burn occurs will look red or pinkish in color due to the erythematous or due to the vasodilation. And this burn basically heals without scarring in 5 to 10 days. In second degree burn, it is also known as partial thickness burn, and it is 2 types, superficial and deep. So to understand the types of the second degree burn, we have to understand the layer of skin. So let's see. Now let's understand the layer of skin. So there are basically the 3 layers of skin. We have the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous fat. So basically the dermis is divided into 2 parts: papillary dermis and reticular dermis. The papillary dermis usually contains some amount of blood vessels, oil glands, and different other structures. Similarly, the reticular dermis contain the blood vessels, the nerves, and some glands too. And beneath the reticular dermis there is subcutaneous fat, and beneath the subcutaneous fat we will see basically muscle or the bone. So here the skin basically contains 3 layers. Now coming back to the second degree burn, we have the superficial and deep burn. And in the superficial burn, basically the epidermis and the papillary dermis is involved, as the blood vessel and nerves are present mainly in the reticular dermis, is not present in the papillary dermis. So here in the superficial second degree burn, the reticular dermis is preserved, and that's why this burn is painful. The example for the superficial and deep second degree burn are the same. So the same thing, like the same hot water or hot milk or hot oil, can cause the superficial burn in some case, and in some instances it can cause deep burn. And basically in the superficial second degree burn, they are painful, as we know that the nerves and blood vessels are preserved, and blister formation usually occurs in the superficial burn, and this heals without scarring in 7 to 14 days. While seeing the difference between the superficial and deep, the deep are basically non-painful. So they are non-painful, and there is a no blister. So there is a no blister formation in the deep. And why they are non-painful? As there is a destruction of the reticular dermis also. So reticular dermis is also involved. That's why the blood vessel and nerves are involved, and that's why they are not painful. And these deep burns usually heals with scarring. So scarring take place in the deep second degree burn. So heals with scarring in 3 to 9 months. And usually the area of the deep second degree burn looks like the mottled areas. They are whitish and mixture of whitish and pinkish areas. Why mixture of whitish and pinkish area. Now let's see the third degree burn. So the third degree burn is known as full thickness burn. The whole skin is involved in this burn. The epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous fat. So whole of the skin is involved in this burn. So it is also known as full thickness burn. And the character of the burn is that there is a no blister, no pain, there is a no any pinprick sensation is present in this burn. And the main thing, the hallmark of this burn is the presence of scar. So the presence of ESCHAR is scar. So what is scar? Scar are actually black colored, leathery, denatured and dead tissue. Black colored, leathery, denatured and dead tissue. So this denatured and dead tissue, which is black in color, are known as scar. And if the scar occur in the limbs in the circumferential pattern, like let us suppose this is a limbs, this is a limb, and let's suppose that if the scar occur in the circumferential pattern in the limbs, they can actually, due to the contracture of the skin and the muscle beneath that, they will ultimately cause the compartmental syndrome. So compartmental syndrome can occur. So when the compartmental syndrome will occur, whenever the scar is circumferential in limb, is circumferential in limb, and in this case, to prevent the compartmental syndrome, we have to do a procedure that is known as scarotomy. The important character of the third degree burn is that the healing occur with scarring. And the scarring is always associated with the contracture. It is always associated with contracture, and usually when such type of the third degree burn patient get into the burn unit, then the doctor will actually do a method to prevent the contracture. So they will basically cause the excision and skin grafting. So to prevent the contracture, excision and skin grafting is done. But yes, this is not the initial method of treatment. Initially, the fluid resuscitation is done, and after the fluid resuscitation, the excision and skin grafting is done. In fourth degree burn, the skin and the underlying structures are involved, and the underlying structures can be bone, it can be muscles, or both, and it can be brain also. So any underlying structures that is beneath the skin, if they are involved, then the burn is fourth degree burn. Now let's discuss the important causes of death in burns. And this every sentence is one of the multiple choice question asked in different exam. So the most common cause of the death at the site of burn. So at the site of burn, if the patient dies, then what is the most common cause of death? The most common cause of death is asphyxia. The second MCQ is the most common cause of early death in burn. So let us suppose in any hospital or in any secondary or primary tertiary care, if the patient comes and patient dies within 4-5 hours, then the most common cause of death in that case is hypovolemic shock. Most common cause of death, late death in burn is sepsis. So let's suppose the patient comes and dies after 3 or 4 days, then the most common cause of death is sepsis. And if in exam they will ask you directly most common cause of death, they will not mention you that early death or late death, then simply write the answer sepsis. and the most common organism for the sepsis is Pseudomonas. As you may have seen, the patients of the burn are having the green pus around the site of burn. So the organism that is responsible for producing the green pus is Pseudomonas.